Hi, I'm here with Kelly Ford Buckley. She's with Edison Partners. They invest in a number of companies, including MarTech companies like Sigstr and Terminus. Kelly, you've got a unique background. Not only are you a partner, but you've been a head of marketing before, so you can talk both languages. You've worn both hats. I'm curious, what are you seeing from a measurement perspective at the account level? Like, are board members asking about account level metrics, or how are you seeing that measurement evolution?
I think, in growth stage tech companies, account-based strategies may be new to some folks sitting around the board, but fundamentally the way that enterprise deals have always been sold was through key account strategies, and this is just an evolution of that has a lot more noise and tech around it. So the board conversation, the board level, the board director perspective, they may not have one around account-based or an expectation around account-based strategies, but there is definitely a heightened level of focus around marketing contribution and marketing sales alignment, and those strategies that where that any go-to-market strategy that is required, but especially as growth stage companies are kind of moving up market or trying to sell bigger deals or more products to their existing customers, whatever the desired outcome is, it usually has some form of account-based strategies behind it. So there's an expectation of measurement. They're not in the weeds or the details around this, and frankly, I enjoy the fact that it gets us out of that lead funnel dynamic and dialogue in the meeting, which often is just reporting out numbers and not really sharing insights.
Right.
And I think when you have an account-based strategy and sales and marketing are truly aligned, you're having a different kind of conversation, and I think the dynamics are so much more clear around who you're going after, what the outcomes are to get them in the funnel, to advance them, engagement strategies, and ultimately the volume, value, and velocity outcomes.
I'm trying to think back to my days as a CMO where I had lead-based reporting. How do I socialize with a board member to get them to account-based reporting, or how do I introduce that to my executives or to CEOs that if I want to be measured on this and I've got a lead-based system, assuming I'm selling to the enterprise, what would you appreciate from a board perspective to have that dialogue with a head of marketing or a CEO? Like, what would you expect?
Well, the first thing I'd expect is that the marketing leader and the sales leader are in lockstep, and that the CEO has an appreciation for that alignment and can articulate themselves why it is they're going to market the way they are with an account-based strategy, and what that means for the organization. So that may be a lot to ask, but it's the responsibility of the marketing and sales leaders to be aligned. It's the responsibility for the CEO to be able to represent that alignment and represent those strategies. So if that's in place, then the board dialogue is very easy, because you, as leaders in the organization, whether you're marketing, sales marketing, hey, imagine sales and marketing reporting out on the quarter together in a board meeting. It does happen.
Right.
It should happen more. And the CEO should be able to represent that too if they had to. So I don't think it's this big, heavy education that you got to bring the board along and that account base is the way to go. That's too tactical. We got to get up here. Like, what's our strategy that's going to accelerate growth for this business? Our sales and marketing in lockstep on making that happen. Is the CEO supportive? That will come through in a board meeting if everybody's aligned, right? Internally, it can be an education. You got to bring people around. I think if you have a lead-based strategy and you have time-tested programming that marketing and sales have always invested in, you got to keep those things going, because they're putting maybe the right points on the board. but you know you can do better, and you run the experiments on the account-based side that, by the way, can absolutely leverage your time-tested programming, incorporate those things, run some experiments, see how it goes before you boil the ocean. And that type of, from a board level conversation, the board wants to hear that you've experimented, you've learned, and you're being really measured about where you invest and why, and you're not just going all in because, you know, events like these say,
right.
say that you should, right?
That's terrific insight. So your expectation is there's experimentation, but you're setting that expectation even if they're not aligned, if I'm hearing you right. So if someone's just experimenting, saying this is what we're doing with account-based or this measurement or this type of campaign, as long as they're being accountable from a marketing function, that's what your expectation is.
Yeah, but I honestly, I wouldn't, you might not know at a board level, but I would hope if I would put the marketing leader hat, a sales leader, or even the CEO, that experiment is happening because you have buy-in to do the experiment, because you suspect that this strategy might be the right one for you.
True.
But then defining the tripwire that says, hey, if we accomplish this goal, or even 80% of this goal, by this period of time, and are able to show these types of results, only then do you turn the dial and maybe start to certainly spend more on the initiatives, but start to diversify channels, or start to add more accounts to focus on and bring more of the sales team into it. So there's a way to phase it out. Everything's a roadmap, and as long as you're really focused on the right performance outcomes, performance-based outcomes, and the organization's aligned on why you're doing it, that's the only way to do it, really.
Well, so it sounds like alignment trumps everything.
Everything, yeah. And in order to get alignment, it's usually education. We just had a panel a little while ago discussing how one gal at Fujitsu, who's running ABM and scaling that across multiple divisions of Fujitsu.
Yes.
Fujitsu?
Yeah.
She has salespeople coming to her saying, "Wait, why aren't my accounts involved in that ABM program?" Right? Like,
perfect.
That's
scenario.
great, right?
Right.
But it's because performance provided the education to certain pockets of the organization who weren't part of the initial experiment, and now we're saying, give me some of that, right?
Sure.
So that's brilliant. But at the same time, the other way, there's salespeople and even sales leaders are saying, slow your roll. I don't want marketing touching and engaging my accounts in this way, and they shouldn't. It should be a well-orchestrated, a touch point can be from a marketing channel online, offline, it can be from a salesperson, but let's coordinate those engagement strategies together and be aligned on the outcomes we're trying to drive, and then you would roll the right accounts representing the right territories and from these reps, and eventually, if it's working, then more and more people will enjoy the participation and the results.
Interesting. So to kind of wrap up then, it sounds like summarizing the alignment piece is important, testing is important, being accountable is important from a board perspective of the marketing function. Alignment with the CEO, alignment with the head of sales, and alignment with the overall strategy.
Yep.
So, excellent. Favorite basketball team before we end, your college basketball?